And we're live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode where today we're going to talk about why the mega era sucks, bro. It's no, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Just kidding.
And we just lost all of our viewers.
Yeah, right. No, today we're going to actually talk, in all seriousness, we're going to talk about some plays that I feel like we're missing out on. Because as the thumbnail shows, it feels like we're in a very short-term mindset of how we look at literally sets in general within this hobby. And we're going to talk about some things that people are kind of disregarding. But before we jump into it, as always, make sure you leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe. Really helps the YouTube channel out. And as always, if you want to check out Alex, his link is down in the description below. But ready, Alex, to get into it?
Let's do it, man.
Let's do it, baby. So I will kind of preface by saying this, and you can kind of segue into today's topic. I feel like, this is so prevalent with a lot of newer people in this hobby, but also I feel like it's a very American cultural thing. I could be wrong. Maybe it's just a human thing. But we live in this kind of world where the news, everything moves so fast. Everything has to be so, instant gratification like, that people will literally just pass by opportunities. I mean, the amount of times that people have literally said, I'd buy that product if it was cheaper, and then it's cheaper, they don't want it because they always want the product that's doing good when they can't get it, and never the product that's doing bad before it does good, if that makes sense. And so we're prefaced by saying this as kind of shown in the thumbnail that, the grass is always greener. Everyone's always sleeping on, who cares about Journey? Who cares about Destin? Who cares about the Scarlet and Violet era? Like, we're moving on to the next sets. And there's so much opportunity that still it feels like is available. Now, obviously, we've talked about it from the sealed product side, and we've discussed kind of our thoughts on 151 and Prismatic and other such things of black and white. But we haven't really talked about some of the opportunities with singles and how some of them might be kind of staring you right in the face.
Yeah, man. It just seems like the hype cycle always comes back around. It draws everyone to the new shiny stuff. The leaks start coming out, and then the sets release, and everyone wants to try to grab the newest, hottest stuff. Most of the time, obviously we've had some times in this bull market where cards have actually went higher and reversed, but 99% of the times, all the cards are cheaper after released. People that chase after like the first few PSA 10s, they usually always come down. I mean, just look at what happened with Prismatic. The Umbreon is now under $1,000 raw now. And it's just like, there's so many plays. I mean, I know people because people they'll reach out to me and I look into the plays they reach out to me with. I'm like, wow, that actually is really good. And there's so many plays right now in the market, but just looking at the overall, you would have yourself believing and others would have you believe that there's no plays right now. Everything's overpriced, just hold your cash on the sidelines. When in reality, man, when you looking at the data, you get really diving into the sets and the cards. And I mean, there's a lot of opportunity out there. It's just not in the brand new stuff, right? It's not in the Destin Rivals at $300 a box, right? It's not in the Mega Evolutions pre-ordering at $250 a box. It's maybe in the earlier middle Scarlet Violet era. Maybe it's going back to Sword and Shield. Maybe there's, long lost promos here and there that people aren't thinking about, sets that are or cards that are kind of buried a little bit in the set that people kind of forgot about that may pop off. But those cards never make it into the mainstream YouTube videos until it's already happening. People will do their recaps and they'll show you things that are already moving, but no one ever talks about things that aren't moving, that are, before it happens. So you can get in before the play happens.
Yeah. No, I mean, the biggest thing that I feel like we're probably going to point out more than anything is some of the singles that are still available for ridiculously cheap, going back to the sets that are going to go out of rotation. Because if you kind of look at what happened with the Sword and Shield era, you had so many really good alternate art cards that as they were literally going out of rotation and the sealed product was starting to climb in value, the singles were still ridiculously cheap. And obviously since then you've seen the singles start to finally pop off, and they've, increased exponentially along with the sealed. But it's this weird thing where you'll see things begin to go up with sealed first, and then finally people look at the cards within them and be like, oh shoot, these singles should probably be worth something. And then the singles will go up, and then people look at it and they're like, oh shoot, these singles are worth something, and then seal will go up. And it's like this weird kind of like back and forth. And so it feels like with a lot of these older sets that we're kind of looking at with some of these more popular cards, whether it be, you know, the Chen Pao or like the Miram or the Guard. I mean, you could go through and look at a list of some of these older cards. I mean, I don't know about you, but the Iono, that card used to be going for over $100+ and now it's sitting at half the price. The Miram was literally on an increase for a bit, went up to like $40 in the interim, and now it's back at like $22 at what I mean, it's crazy to see like kind of the ping-ponging effect of some of these cards that have historically done well. And as we're aware, we've kind of seen what happens to a lot of these popularized long-term trainers and how they tend to perform.
Yeah, and so like for anyone that, I mean, I know a lot of people here probably watch my channel, but for anyone that doesn't, I put out a video today, and I was basically showing a lot of the early or the middle Sword and Shield sets. So like I was showing like the Chilling Rain, the Fusion Strikes, the Evolving Skies. And when you look at when they went out of rotation, it was April of 2024. Okay. And what's funny is most all of the alt arts in those sets, they literally hit their lowest point in PSA 10. I wasn't looking at Raw. I was looking at PSA 10, but I think the Raw is pretty similar. They were literally hitting their lows in like the 6 months leading up to going out of print. And then when they went out of print that April, they all spiked, they all skyrocketed and went up exponential amounts. And so right now we're leading up to that last 6 months of SV base through Paldean Fates, that whole block of going out of print next April. And so like, these are the times you should be looking to pick those singles up based on history. But again, there's no talk about those sets. It's all focused on the newest shiny thing. It's focused on, you know, the prismatic reprint and what are the evolutions going for now. It's focused on Destined Rivals because it hit 300. It's focused on mega evolutions and all this stuff. And, you know, everything else is, no one talks about SV base. No one's talking about Obsidian Flames. No one's talking about Paradox Rifts. Like that Obsidian Flames Pidgeot, it's an $80 to $90 card in a PSA 10. I mean, like when you take a special illustration rare, the highest rarity in the sets, a Gen 1 Pokemon, second to only the Charizard in the set, and, you know, taking PSA grading fees into account, shipping there and back, the gem rates of these Scarlet Violet cards aren't easy. You take all that into account, and you're like, I like to pay that little of a premium to get a PSA 10 of an SIR. And I just think we're going to be kicking ourselves in a year from now when we look back after April, May come along in 2026, we're going to be like, wow, remember when those cards were sub $100? I can't believe we're paying, you know, $250, $300 for these. And you know, that time comes because it came before. I mean, I just pulled up randomly an Espeon VMAX, like the one from Fusion, because that was one of the cards I focused on. It was literally $225 January 2024. By the time it went out of print, it was up to $389 in just 4 months. And like that's it's even more crazy for things like the Umbreon VMAX, the Gengar VMAX, the Rayquaza, like, and those are the kind of moves that happen in that short time just because people got in when no one else wanted to.
You know, it's interesting because like some of these cards, I don't know if you remember, but like to give an example, you remember the Drowsy card? Do you remember how crazy that was with the art design? Do you remember how it ran all the way up to like $70, $80?
Yeah.
It's currently going for $25. So like
cutting a third.
Yeah, that's like a 60-ish% retrace. Like, and so going back to it, you have a lot of these people that were like, oh, I should have bought when I should have bought. Well, when it made its first move, it was going for like $15. It's only $10 cheaper or $10 more now.
And look at the sales volume now. The sales volume when that card was 60, 70, $80 through the roof. The sales volume now, not barely existent, right?
Yeah. So if you're one of those people that actually wants to put your money where your mouth is, and you said, I would have bought in that card if it was, you know, at that price or even $10 more, but now it's too expensive and I missed the boat. I don't know. Are you truly a firm believer of what that card could potentially do in the long term? I don't know. It's one of those things where the more you kind of look at it, you've got still so many cards. I mean, going back to it, kind of like what we discussed about with the Sword and Shield era. If you're a fan, because I feel like it's talked about so much in this like live stream where so many people talk about like Scarlet and Violet is so much better than Sword and Shield, blah, 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 especially if we're talking first halves. If you're a believer of it, truly, all I'm saying is like there's a lot of singles that are extremely undervalued that are probably going to mirror what happened with a lot of the singles in the Sword and Shield era when they started to go parabolic. Because you might think now that like things are kind of parabolic considering the fact that like, you know, SV base and all these other first half boxes are going for over 200 a pop. But like, if you really believe in the next 3 to 4 years that most of these could be going for anywhere between $300 to $400 plus, the singles are going to move with them.
Yeah, and just like I'm a big fan of like putting things into like, I don't know, like real world perspective, right? Because I think people like see big numbers and like or hear names of things and they like just don't give Pokemon the credit it deserves. And I know a lot of people here do, but it's like, put it this way, guys. Me and Eli both talked about it before. Like once a card gets to a price point and it comes back, it's likely it's going to at least get back to where it was, right? And so like take the 151 Charizard. Okay. It was over $1,000 at one point. It's down around 700. Okay. So from 700 to 1,050 would be 50% gain. All right. So in my mind, the chances of that happening after, because it goes out of print in April, the chances of that happening in a year's time, July of next year, I think are very high. Okay. So if you think that's a very high, you're like, well, yeah, probably. Okay. Well, think about this. There's people out there like, well, I'm putting money in Bitcoin. It's like, okay, well, that means you think Bitcoin is going to be roughly 180,000 a coin by this time next year. And maybe it will, but just understand that's what you're betting on. If you're putting money in NVIDIA Corporation, right? You think NVIDIA is going to go from 175 a share to whatever, you know, that is like almost 300 a share in the same amount of time. It's like, so it's people just like don't think about it in terms of like other real world applications to their money where it's like, dude, that is a crazy move. If you think that Charizard is going to be $1,000 again in a matter of like, you know, 6 months to a year, that's a crazy good play. But people will be like, well, yeah, Charizard's expensive. It's, you know, it's already kind of played out. No, dude, everything's expensive right now. It's an amazing, there are so many great plays that are going to happen in the next year that can stand up to pretty much any other investment out there, I feel like.
I mean, just I'm not saying that the Charizard is the Moonbreon, but like
No.
look at what some of the cards have done that are more popular characters in the Sword and Shield era. The Espeon, the Gengar, the Moonbreon. Let's not act like Charizard isn't one of the most fan favorite characters and can't also break records in terms of how expensive it could go for.
From the most iconic set in the era.
Yeah. I mean, heck, this might be a hot take. I don't think it's crazy to say that the Brilliant Stars Charizard isn't undervalued. Like, I don't know if you disagree or agree with me on that one, but like that one is going for right around a little over $200. And don't get me wrong, it looks like it's having a run now, but like for the longest time, that one was going for low 100s, which is crazy. And like if you look at the history of what a lot of these Charizard cards go for, I mean 3, 4, 500 plus dollars. But it's like, so if you can take an opportunity and pick up something like the 151 when it's at where it is right now, and we know what 151 is going to do long term, like we know the demand for the set right now. I don't know. It just
I mean,
feels
here's another
kind of a
thing is like,
no-brainer.
I know like people like get scared of the population reports and stuff because that Charizard does have just under 20,000 PSA 10s graded right now. But the Umbreon, I'm looking at it right now, the Moonbreon, it's got 17,598 10s. It's making a run right now to cross $3,000 a card now. And people are telling me a Charizard can't get to 1,000 again with similar population in the most iconic set, when especially when it hasn't even went out of print yet. I think that's a crazy take. Honestly, I think it's a crazier bet to bet that it wouldn't be at 1,000 a year from now than to bet that it would. Like honestly, if someone gave me an under over, I would take the over every bet I would take. I mean, that's just kind of where I am with a lot of these cards, and it just makes more sense to buy than not to buy.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that right now, and don't get me wrong, like this is kind of what this channel is built upon, is sealed product. And I am 100% someone that is a fan of sealed product over singles. Like, don't hear what I'm not saying, but also at the exact same time, there are instances and where there are singles where I'm like, I feel like this just seems like a no-brainer play when it comes to the opportunity to make money. especially if
Yeah,
you're
that
someone
and
that's a fan of certain sets.
Yeah, that and, it's just like there's not a lot of obvious sealed plays right now. Like,
Yeah.
I think you should have some cash waiting for reprints and restocks. Cash, waiting for when, newer sets drop and they're lower. And like maybe you can go back and get older sets. But I mean, right now, just like right at full market value, there's not a lot of obvious plays, in my opinion. I do want to take that question because I actually texted Eli about this when I heard the news and got him. I texted multiple people that I knew with distribution and stores just to see if anyone had any info. My rep got back to me. Eli, you can confirm this, guys. There is absolutely zero confirmation of any Paldea Evolve reprint at distribution. Doesn't mean it's not coming. It doesn't mean that big box stores aren't going to get it. It's all going through MJ Holdings and it's just going to big box stores. What that likely means is no booster boxes. That likely means maybe sleeved, maybe other products. If you guys think that product hitting stores is going to affect Paldea booster boxes, well, then you're ignoring like 151. I mean, we've had bundles, printed in mass, reprints of bundles, Blooming Waters printed in mass, reprints of Blooming Waters, Alakazam boxes, Zapdos boxes, all these different products. Guess what the ETBs did? Nothing but up. And so, no, I other than a few people getting freaked out and selling because, these sites are putting out these, scare tactics to get you to sign up for their site. I don't think it's going to have a long-term effect because I don't think we're getting more booster boxes. That's just my take. What's yours?
I mean, I reached out to 3 different distros. None of them have confirmed anything. They said they would look into it, but it's news to them. So
yep.
Take it for what you will, obviously. I haven't had anyone solicit about it. All I know is that literally someone made a post about it saying it's confirmed and then didn't say anything past that.
But remember,
and don't get me wrong, like I have no clue who this person is. I don't know how reputable they are. So I could go either way. But I guess for me personally, as with all things, I'm going to wait until my sources can confirm it before I confirm anything.
All I'm going to say is I'm pretty sure the original source of it was a notification group. And basically, I think part of the post was sign up for the notification group so that you can get notified when this drops so you get product, which is right. It's very, I don't know, borderline like scare tactics and to sign up for our group so you can get, the secret information type stuff. So I don't know, man. Like whenever there's stuff like that going on, I always I want to reach out to legitimate sources and find out if any other legitimate information. Again, we couldn't. Doesn't mean it's not coming. No, right? But I will say, a lot of you guys remember, a lot of you follow Anon TCG. A lot of you guys remember when I kind of went through some like online, I guess, like beef with him because I said, no, this stuff's not confirmed. It's ridiculous. And only some of those items that he 100% confirmed were coming, guaranteed they were coming, only a small portion of those ever came. And a lot of the stuff never got reprinted. And it's just like, this is why you can't just operate on rumors. And the last thing I'm going to say is, this is an unregulated market. If you did this kind of stuff on Wall Street, you'd literally be in jail, like for some of the, like rumors that people put out and don't be true, because like you're literally manipulating the market based on information that to be faulty or not to have 100% proof of. Again, not saying any of this isn't provable, but like there have been rumors in the past. It was like back in the day when people were saying Evolving Skies, they had confirmation it was getting reprinted. It never came. They were just 100% lying, talking out of their ass. And so like that's what I want people to look out for. But anytime I speak out against this stuff, it always comes back, blowback on me like, oh, Alex is just afraid of reprints and he's just trying to protect his positions, all these things. I'm not afraid of anything. I told you guys before, I have tons of cash right now. I'd love you to go buy more. But at the same time, I'm not going to get behind a rumor that no distros out there can confirm. That's all it is.
Yeah, I mean, here's my thing is it feels unlikely, but obviously I'm willing to change my stance on when obviously more information is provided to me. That's kind of it. My stance is always going to change if information changes it. I don't really know what more to say about that. And then not to mention too, like to what extent we don't really know if this is legitimate, what the product is going to be. It's going to be booster boxes. Is it going to be booster bundles? Honestly, is it going to be only in big box retailers?
Well, what's funny is like because it's on the side of things going down, right? It's like affect because like Abraham said, real or not, it did affect the PE market. Yeah, it did because you have a bunch of people believing rumors. You know what's funny though, but like those people don't get called out at all for it. Now, if me and Eli were to come out and say fake information and be like, hey, we got words distributor, they're not printing any more Twilight Masquerade, they're done. Could you imagine what that's going to do to the Twilight Masquerade market? You want to see a box go to $300 faster, and you think it? I mean, we could do the same thing on the other end and like go do the opposite and just like come out with random stuff. Did you hear? They're done. They're done printing Prismatic. This was the last drop. Like, it's crazy. They're just rumors. We're people online. That's all we are.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think it's worth discussing right now. That's about all I could say is like, if it was really worth something discussing, I would have said something about it on, I would have just said something about it anywhere, whether it be on Discord, Twitter, or whatever. Yeah. But we're here, man. People obviously have those questions. It's interesting too, because like people just want clicks. I'm not saying, like I said before, that this is the person's intention, but like I saw a post the other day, which I thought was hilarious because it was like breaking news. The Umbreon has dropped like 40% in price. And it showed like them taking a screenshot of like TCG Player and saying that it was going for like $1,400 or something like that. And I was like, what? That seems unlikely. And I went and like Googled it on TCG Player. And it was literally showing not Japanese. It was like showing the Chinese version. And all you would have need to have done to fact check it is take 2 seconds to go click and realize that the image that they took was just a snapshot of TCG Player and what they had as an aggregate, which if you're familiar with how TCG Player works, a lot of times you can't go off of what it just shows on the pricing because it's not going to be representing the people that are selling things that are in a different language with pictures. And so like, a lot of casuals saw that and they were like, oh my God, it's crazy. It's dropped that much. Like, it's about time. And you're just like, is no one going to call out the fact that this is completely misleading? And if you literally just took 2 seconds to do research, you could debunk this. But like, I don't know. In this hobby, it's very click driven. So I don't know.
It's what makes the hobby really attractive to people though, is like that there is no regulation, right? Like you can literally just say anything you want and try to make a play on the market based on how well you can manipulate it, based on like how many people you can get on board and how much following you have. It's kind of wild to watch happen.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's always known about the TCG Player, like random card buyouts. Like those have always been a thing. People will locate cards that have a low inventory and, they'll realize that it only takes X amount of dollars to buy them out. And then you can raise the price and then all you need to do is find enough, kind of suckers to buy in at those prices and dump your position. And then, it'll come back down in some sort of way.
And that's why today on stream, I'm here to announce 151 reprints. No. Like, I don't know, dude. Like, it's the hobby we work on. But moving on to the topic back on hand, is there a specific couple? I mean, I mentioned a couple myself. Is there any ones that you feel pretty good about, Alex, in terms of singles you think are worth picking up, whether it be in just like the back half of like the Scarlet and Violet era or Sword and Shield or whatever?
The back half? Well, see, I'm a lot more confident in the front half because I think, since those are like so close to like being at the end of their lifespan.
Whoa, hold on a second. Do you know what I'm sorry. I meant to say first half. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, I mean, okay, so what am I like the most? Well, I mean, SV base, even the Gardevoir, even the top hit in the set's only $150 and a 10 right now. I like that. When you go to Paldea, I like a lot of the starters and the legendaries. Like we talked about the Chi and Pao, the Chi Yu, the Skeledirge and Meowscarada are literally like under $100 in PSA 10s, like $80. $80 for a 10. Your risk to reward is so high at that point. It's just like you're barely risking anything, especially at the high cost of PSA and everything. Obsidian, that Pidgeot seems really good. Paradox, I mean, the Iron Valiant seems low. Even the Roaring Moon, I think, still probably a good pickup for where it's at. And then, like, when you go to, like, 151, I mean, I think even though 151's expensive already, I like all the starters. I really like that Giovanni's Charisma. things like that. Paladin Fates, like the Bubble Mew is already astronomical. I think it's like 12, 1310. So I like the Charizard, Iono, Gardevoir in that set. I didn't look too deep into the illustrations yet. I was going to do a different video later, but from everything I've seen on the SIRs, it just seems like, especially once you get the Paradox and Temporal and Paldean and 151, the hit rates are harder than SV 1 through 3. And so it's like you have actually difficult cards to hit. You're going to have expensive boxes and packs, and you're going to have these cards that you can pick up so cheap right now that I think the odds of them being more at this time next year are far greater than the odds of them being less at this time next year. And as an investor, that's all you're looking for. I think a lot of people get misconstrued of like getting into like this investing competition of like, well, Alex, I can outperform you with X, Y, or Z. It's like, dude, I am looking for the lowest amount of risk I can possibly find for the most upside potential. And anything I can find with a lopsided risk to reward ratio, I'm good on. I don't want to take on a ton of risk to try to make a ton of reward. I want to take on almost no risk to make a sizable reward. And that's what I think all these cards are right now.
What are your thoughts on trainer cards?
Which ones?
Like just in general, like obviously I mentioned like the Iono, I had mentioned the, the Miriam.
I like those because they're like sort of like the top, as long as they're like higher to like the top hits in the set. I don't want to like go dig deep in the set and get like the Arvin or get like, the Penny,
I don't want to use this. I don't want to use this term, but like waifus, like,
Yeah. I mean, dude, like here, there's no secret that they're pushing the Iono in this era more than anything. So like, yeah, I think Iono is going to be a card you want to have because that's what they're pushing and people are likely going to, attach onto it somewhat. That Miriam card, like we were talking about, it's like, what is it? Like a $20 guys. Miriam was the top hit in Scarlet Violet for the longest time. It is now like a $20-something card. That seems completely undervalued to me.
Here's another interesting question. You obviously talk about a lot from the perspective of PSA 10. Do you think for yourself, for a lot of people that might ask this question, do you think it's better to buy the card near mint and hope that you can maybe send it in for grading for the ones that you think are worth grading and then holding on to the singles? Yeah. Or would you just rather go buy all your cards in 10s and not have to play the game?
I think it depends on like how much work you want to do. We have people in my Patreon Discord that really lean into the singles game and they do very well, but make no mistake, it's a lot of work, right? Like, buying a bunch of singles, having to pre-grade them, having to send them in, obviously risk it. Some get 9s, some get 10s. The 9s you might lose money on. And then you have the other singles you have to kind of resell back onto the market. There's the reason I stick with PSA 10s is singles. It always seems like at some point there's going to be a discrepancy. This isn't near mint, this is light play, or, even if it is near mint, like, oh, I thought it was going to be minty. This is like more 7-8 quality. I don't want it. Or, is it a strong near mint? Is it a weak near mint? And I just don't want to deal with all that. Like I'd rather just have the 10 because I just want to buy it as an investment. I just buy it, set it. When it goes up in value, I sell it. And so it really depends on which way you want to go with it. I would say is if you do have the time, if you do want to like, sit on them, if you aren't worried about the possible issues you might have, then yeah, I mean, buy the card that you're willing to invest in. The ones you can't send, just put them away as a single investment. Send in the ones that can grade. When you get them back, hold those too. And then if you're right, like we're thinking we are, next year, they'll all be up. You can sell the singles at a profit. You can sell the 9s at a profit, the 10s at a bigger profit. And so, yeah, I think it all works. It just depends on which route you want to go, right? It's kind of like if you don't want to buy booster boxes, you can buy booster bundles. Like I think it's more something like that.
Yeah. Because like for me, I just look at some of these cards and I say, okay, like sure, I can go buy it for $20. And like if the card goes up to 60, fantastic. But I also say if I go buy like 100 of these cards, if I send in a couple of them and if they go for 20 and they're in a 10 at like over $100, as long as the ones that I'm sending in, I have a greater ratio of 1 to 5 in terms of 10s to 9s.
Yeah.
And the idea would be, obviously, I'm not just sending anything in. I'm literally pre-selecting the ones. So I should hopefully have at least above a 50%, 9-10 ratio. So obviously, like you said, it comes with more work and a lot of people don't want to have to deal with that. So I can definitely see an argument.
It's funny because this is literally like the conversation we just had last night in the Discord chat. It's a lot of people are thinking that with some of these alt arts recently in the last like month, 2 months, where it's like a lot of the PSA 10 alt arts have kind of moved quicker than the singles lately. And so it's kind of, I know people making that play with the alt arts. They're buying alt arts, grading what they can, holding what they can't. One thing I will say is, this is kind of universally true, is the older the sets get, the harder it is to find gradable copies. And so like, I wouldn't go back to Sun and Moon or XY and play the buy off TCG player near mint game. You're almost extremely unlikely, if not impossible, to find an actual 10 candidate in those. Now, Sword and Shield's not too old yet. You can definitely still get 10 candidates. And then Scarlet Violet era, you can definitely use that method and you'll get 10 candidates. It's just the older sets get, the more and more they get cycled through, and people already do this, a bunch of times. And, everything on the market is basically like 7, 8 quality, sometimes 9 quality at that point. But no, Scarlet Violet, even Sword and Shield, you still got some time to get some singles, I think.
Yeah. No, 100%. So a couple things, just because I always like to mention it. We're going to go into questions here in the next 10 minutes. So if you have any question, as always, make sure to, in the chat, type question, all caps, followed up with your question. Makes it really easy for us to kind of go through it. Obviously, we talked predominantly about the back half stuff. We feel a lot more confident about it. Is there anything in the, or sorry, I keep saying back half. I mean to say the first half of the Scarlet and Violet era. Is there any specific cards in like the, Journey, Destined? Is there any of like the newer ones? I know those are typically harder or more riskier because they have higher chance of reprints and stuff, but is there one you're looking at and you're like, man, it just feels so cheap for what it is currently?
I'm kind of biased, I think, so I think I like them more than a lot of people do, and I could be completely wrong, but I think those top 4 temporal cards, I think the Raging Bolt, Gouging Fire, Walking Wake, and even like that Iron Crown are really good prices right now. When we look at like, obviously like the Shrouded Fable, I know like that's like a set that no one talks about, no one likes, but like moving into some of those like cool cards, like the Persian, the Houndoom, things like that might be not a bad play. And then like, I know like the Eevee illustration dropped a bunch from Twilight. I know like the Squirtle and Bulbasaur got really beat up from Stellar Crown. So I think there's a lot of opportunity. I think you're taking on a little more risks. They have a lot longer time in print, but I still think they're decent prices to where, you shouldn't get too hurt at the prices they've dropped to.
What's your thoughts on a card like, I don't know, we'll say like Morty's Conviction, where like it has a trainer in it, obviously, because it's Morty, but the imagery shows a Gengar. Like how much do you like care about cards like that? Because like that card was going for 60 not that long ago, and it's had a 100% retrace from what it's previously was at around $30.
You know what card comes to mind when I think of that's never got any love at all? Is the Penny from Paldean Fates. It's got the Umbreon in the card with her. She's carrying an Eevee backpack, and no one's ever cared about that card. But the Morty, man, they care about that because the Gengar's in it. So I've never understood why the Penny with the Umbreon never got love. But yeah, man, it's hard to tell. This is a weird era where they've done that with multiple cards now, and it's kind of untested to see how it's going to do, right?
Well, I was going to also mention the Cassiopeia from Shrouded, because obviously
another one, yeah,
that one has the Sylveon in it.
Yeah, another Penny type, same character. So they've done it multiple times, and again, that Cassiopeia that started out as the top card in that set for a while. So I don't know if it's just kind of the trainer or the waifu like boom coming back down to earth, or if they're going to have a resurgence with, especially the ones with the popular Pokemon in the cards with them. It's hard to tell, man.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I agree with you, because like I just Googled the Penny card and I'm like, wow, I never really even thought about that. I definitely do think, as crazy as it's not that crazy to say, it does come down to the trainer too, to a certain extent.
True.
Like,
but is Morty really that sought after?
No, not really.
It's just the Gengar, yeah.
No, like Iono is the one they're pushing. They're pushing Iono. Guess what they pushed in the Sword and Shield era? Marnie, right? Marnie was the one they pushed. He was
Lily before that.
Yeah, like they've got certain characters that they're pushing. So Those are the ones I feel like you're going to want to get. I do think Miriam, though. I don't know. Maybe it's just me with the art style of the card, but I do think that's one that's going to do well. I'm just a big fan
Well,
of it.
I mean, it gets to the point where it's just like, what's your risk at this point?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think it's going to go to $10 a card, $5 a card? Like, what's your actual risk? I mean, I feel like we've got to the point now where, you know, like I said, the sets are in their last leg. May get some more product, may not. Already down to $20. I just feel like the risk is so low at this point.
Yeah. I feel like you also ask yourself the question, like, where's your stance on population reports on a lot of these things? Because, like, if we're just going back and, like, saying to ourselves, okay, let's take a less popular set in, like, the back half of the Sword and Shield era, right? Because we're going to try and compare alternate arts. If
Dude,
you've got,
I'll just say two cards with what I think of population. Two cards. Felt Hat Pikachu and Stained Glass Birds.
yeah, those are crazy, dude.
I just don't think population matters if demand's high enough.
Dude, I need to find my stained glass. I swear I had a couple, and I'm like now driving myself nuts not knowing where they are.
Hey, also the more important factor is availability, right? Because I've talked about this multiple videos, and like I think it never gets talked about enough by other people. Is everybody talks population, no one talks availability. Guys, we just said there's like almost 18,000 Moonbryons in existence. There's 83 results on the market. It's a PSA 10. 83 out of 18,000. You're talking a percentage of a percent. Like it's less than 1% of the. So it's just like, yeah, they're out there, but they're never available. You can't go buy them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know how big of a deal it is.
All right. Let us start getting into some questions. All right. Question number 1. How do you decide if it's better putting your money in older sealed product versus new? For example, would you buy one Evo Skies booster box case or a case of Destin Rivals booster box or one Fusion Strike booster box or a 151 bundle display?
The Fusion Strike or 151 is a hard one, but the other one's easy. Evolving Skies all day over Destin at this price. Fusion Strike or 151 bundles, I could almost go either way on those. I think 151's coming down to the end, and it's going to be an iconic set. It's going to do very well. I don't think there's a bad option on the Fusion or bundles, but I think it's very clearly Evo Skies over Destin right now.
Yeah, I agree with you on the first one. I mean, the biggest reason I'll kind of talk about it is because Destin Rivals, although I think it'll be phenomenal in the long term, it's so early of a set that is going to more than likely be reprinted a couple of times. And so the price is not going to be able to go on a run that soon. Like, let's say that it goes in the next, couple of months, like up to a price that's crazy, like $400. You're assuming that Pokemon, recognizing now with the announcements that they made, that they're going to be like trying to do their best to drop this thing back to 300. And you might say to yourself, well, okay, if I buy it now, that's $100 increase and I can just, DCA. But in that same time frame, Evolving Skies is not going to drop at all. So it's going to just keep climbing. So even if, Destin is still climbing because of its demand, it's going to do it a lot slower while it's in rotation, just because the supply is still going to suppress it, regardless of whether it just keeps going up and doesn't take a huge dive. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so I do agree with Alex on the Fusion and the 151. That one's really hard for me. Yeah, especially considering where Fusion is right now at its price. I feel like I'm going to go 151 bundle just because I feel like from a percentage perspective, where Fusion is right now, like it's going to need a lot bigger of legs up than the bundles for 151.
Yeah, I agree. I would lean 151 bundle like over Fusion. Like it's definitely a lot different than prismatic bundles because prismatic still has so long in print.
Yeah, 100%. Opinion on the custom 151 or other special set booster boxes, ones made with the acrylic cases.
Don't know.
I have no clue what that is. I apologize.
If it's something that people like, I mean, obviously we're talking about something that someone had to have made like secondary market. I mean, it's Souls of Ghosts. It's basically meaningless. It's just a fan made item. It's still just 36 loose packs for it to anyone that it's, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you can convince people to buy them for more because it's in acrylic cases and 36 packs. I don't know. I don't think there's any special investment value to it if that's what you're talking about.
Am I a bad guy for picking my seal collection over selling it and keeping my wife?
Is this telling us you got a divorce, Zach?
He's telling you he got a divorce the long way.
I think it's a bad thing.
It's not the greatest.
I would choose your wife over Pokemon.
I was about to say, it depends how much you love your wife. It sounds like that. Greetings from Greece. Hello. How's it going? What's your opinion about Fusion Strike Elo and Brilliant Star booster box cases at current prices? It's worth to get them, or would it be wiser to buy something that it has a lower entry cost?
So I like having cases, especially in the beginning, because you used to always be able to get cases at actually a case discount or even like the same price as 6 loose boxes. I think a lot of those sets have a pretty good case premium at this point. And honestly, I don't know if the case premium outpaces just getting 6 loose boxes enough to make it worth it, especially once these things get so expensive that a lot of times people end up just selling the loose boxes and crack the case anyway because they can't find a buyer for the full case. So in those scenarios, I think I'd rather just go with the loose box price than trying to find sealed cases, unless you can find the sealed cases at a relatively same cost as what 6 boxes would be. That'd be my take.
So I kind of read this in 2 different ways. One, I read it in the way you articulated it, but I also read it from the perspective of if you were to pick up items that were cheaper. Like, obviously, we're talking Sword and Shield era stuff. Is it maybe better to pick up some of the newer booster boxes in the Scarlet and Violet era that are going for, around 200 instead of paying $300, $400, $500 for boxes? So I would say the 2 things to consider, depending upon how you're articulating this question, is look at your premiums, look at your spreads, right? Does it make more sense, kind of like what we talked about with 151, to buy the loose packs compared to buying the ETBs, right? Because it's one thing if you're saying to yourself, like, the premium on the ETB is not that big of a difference, you might as well just go buy the ETB. But like, if it's one of those things where you see there's a 10x difference, you're like, whoa, that seems pretty aggressive. It might be worth it just to pick up some loose packs or other items for that reason. And then in the aspect of, talking about just more expensive items, is it worth it investing in Evolving Skies, even though it's only 2K, right? Or it's going for 2K. You have to ask yourself, more importantly, percentages. Like, you could say, okay, this box is going for 1,000, this other box is going for 100. But if that box is going for 1,000, gets to 2,000 before the other box goes from 100 to 200, sure, it might be harder for that box. But if you know the demand's there, that's all you really care about, is what your percentage rate of return is, not your entry. Because if you made that argument with battle styles, I mean, you got cooked every step along the way compared to Evolving. Like, no, seriously.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I get it.
Are 151 auxiliary products worth selling now or still worth holding?
Hold. I personally wouldn't be selling any 151 right now.
Alex, I need you for this one. I need your 8-ball. When does the bull run end?
I got it.
Is it after the mega set? Ask it. Is the bull run going to end after the mega set?
8-ball, you heard him. You heard the man. Ask again later.
Oh,
it doesn't even know, dude.
Dude, even the 8-ball doesn't know. That's crazy.
Zach, we'll ask later, brother.
That's tough. All right. Fraudulent 8-ball over here.
Honestly, you want an honest answer? I think me and Eli are actually going to be dead wrong. I I think our take last time, I mean, judging by what people are pre-selling these boxes for, I don't know if this mega set's going to go under 200 like I thought.
Wait, what's it pre-selling for?
Dude, I think it's like 230 to 250.
It's too early to say. It's too
early, but like, and then the hype I'm hearing, like, I think people are, I think
Dude,
black
do
and
you
white
remember
didn't
how much
really,
Destin was pre-selling for? It's pre-selling for
like 400.
400 out the gate. And
but
then it
Journey
eventually
wasn't that
dropped down
high,
to
and Journey
230.
held up. I don't know.
Journey
It
was
just seems
pre-selling
like
for 3.
it just seems like black and white didn't scratch the itch as well. And I think people are just like saving their money and really going to load up on the mega and like open the mega because they're more excited for it. So I don't know. I'm in the middle, man. It might do better than we think.
Is it on TCG Player right now?
I don't know. I've been looking at eBay.
I was about to say I'd wait until I see it on TCG.
I know
Player.
my local LGS sent out a pre-order thing, and it was $229.99 too.
I don't know. I think that's not well. Okay, maybe I'm taking a different approach. I think that might be a sign that it's going to sell for under 200.
And that was our original take. I'm not 100% sure now.
Okay, so the mega enhanced boxes, they're doing the enhanced BS again.
Dude. It's up to 285 on eBay sales, 270. Yeah,
I'm looking right now. It's showing on it. Is it enhanced? Are we doing the whole enhanced thing again?
Yeah, it is enhanced.
Okay, so it's selling for 270 on TCG Player.
Prem mega, in my opinion, gonna be 150 to 160. Definitely not that low. I can very clearly tell you that's not going that low. Me and Eli were thinking maybe 180 to 200, but now I'm almost thinking it might not break 200, dude.
I want to pull something else up, actually.
The lowest box I can find on eBay, I think, is 280 right now.
I want to talk percentages here. I do actually want to pull something up. I'll do Destined because I feel
and again, like dude, I'm not trying to FOMO anybody. Like I was the first one saying I think it's going to be 180 to 200, but now I'm just starting to go back on that, thinking this is doing better than I thought.
Dude, I'm never getting. Sorry. Let me double check. So if we go back, so Destin was first listed on TCG Player on March 24th, and it was listed at 350. It then 2 weeks later dropped to 274, and then on its release dropped all the way down to what looks to be 245, we'll say. So from the listing, it was at 350 to 245. That puts it at what would that be, a 30% drop?
All right, what?
Are you not paying attention?
My buddy was just leaving.
Okay, it's a 30% drop if we're talking about where Destin was pre-selling on its initial posting versus now. So, oh man, it's saying that this was pre-selling for 350. What the fuck? That's crazy. But this initial drop was so much faster on the 1 month. Does it show a different chart? Yeah, that's hard. If we're going off of 280 and we're doing the same percentages.
All I know is like I know people talk in the chat. Like
I'm not 196.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of. I'm not talking about inside deals or anything. I'm just saying like full regular market price TCG Player eBay, what you can buy it for. I don't know if this is going to drop under 200.
Here's what I'll say. I'll say this. This literally just got listed. I mean, when was the last sale? Oh my God, are you kidding me? It's making me log in. Sorry, TCG Player is busting my balls right now.
Yeah, they're doing some weird updates right now.
Oh my God, it's so annoying. Okay, so it looks like it was actually listed on the 17th. Dude, I can't believe that. That's crazy. I think it's too early to say. That's all I'm going to say. It's too early to say. Talk to me in a month. And if prices are still here, then yes, I will agree with you. But if in a month it goes down to 200 or 220, I still think that it could get there.
Well, here's the other thing, Eli. Like, not to like expand on this question. I know we have to take other questions, but I don't know what you're selling the Gundam sets for, but my local card shop, they had them listed for $199.99, and I gotta tell you, they were basically flying off the shelves. And so,
what was market?
What
was market for them?
I don't know. Like I haven't looked it up, but it just got me thinking that it just seems like if other not as popular TCGs are able to sell $200 boxes now, and then Magic, as crazy as Magic is, and people paying 100 plus for a collector pack, I just think we're just raising the floor right now. People are getting more used to paying more for booster packs and booster boxes, and it's going to take a lot of other dominoes to fall before Pokemon falls. It's going to take these other card games to cool down before Pokemon does. If people are willing to pay $200 for a brand new untested game, but think Pokemon's going to go lower, that's crazy. There's no way.
Yeah, it looks like Gundam is right now selling for $207.
That's crazy.
It looks like at its release, it was selling for $250. So that's probably why it's flying off the shelf. We in shop, we got a couple of them. We did a thing where like we sold the first one for market, and then we sold the second one at MSRP if you bought a second one.
Yeah.
So just because we wanted to because the people that were asking about Gundam were asking about it because they wanted to play the game. And we're expanding the shop. I think I've talked about this, and we're really going to try and press forward with getting as much TCG events as possible. So you kind of need a player base for that. I do have an interesting question for you. I know this isn't Pokemon related. I don't want this to take up too much time of the segment, but when it comes to everyone having a conversation about the bubble, everything's going to pop, blah, blah, blah. I know this is kind of separate, but also the same thing. 08 is something that a lot of people like to look at, and they say the 08 bubble popped. I feel like consumer debt is so much more mainstream nowadays compared to back then. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, obviously, yes, getting a mortgage and all these kind of ninja loans that they were approving, subprime mortgages, that is what caused the crash to occur. But if you look at it from a real estate perspective, a lot of the banks and lending companies are not approving things as easily. But when it comes to consumer debt, you're seeing it a lot more prevalent in credit cards, college, and vehicle loans. I guess the question I'm trying to get at with this is do you look at it and say to yourself, this bubble might not pop because it's a different type of debt? Or do you see it as something that is still unhealthy that could be for concern? Because realistically speaking, I just don't know, with the buying power nowadays and the mainstream nature of how things are with credit cards and such, it's definitely interesting to see how much more popularized, I guess, it is.
I'm going to pull this chart up for you. Hold on. This is kind of explains why I'm not worried about it. And you can pull these charts up for pretty much everything. So if
you're not going to lose I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm tripping, but are you going to lose? Are they going to garnish your wages or make you lose your home if you're not paying your credit card bills on time? I don't know.
No. Here, hey, share that screen real quick. So
yeah.
This is what I always look up. I always look up the delinquency rates. And so these are just the credit card delinquency rates from all commercial banks. And as you can see, it's actually lower than it ever was in the 90s or early 2000s, right? And so obviously it's just not, you can see in 08 it went highest ever, right? 07, 08, 09 was the highest ever. But it's higher than it was in 2022, but it's still near way lower delinquencies than we've seen even back in the 90s. So seeing this, it doesn't scare me too much. If we start seeing delinquencies start to skyrocket, I'd be a lot more afraid. But it's the same. I'm not going to pull up all these different charts, but this, you can do the same thing. You can look up the charts for auto loan defaults, for mortgage defaults, for anything. I've looked at these charts; they're all relatively low, and so I just don't see it anywhere near a problem yet.
I think the problem though with that chart though is the question of like, is it delinquency rates that led to '08, or is it '08 that led to higher delinquency rates? Like what came
True.
first, the chicken or the egg? Because we could sit here and we could look at that chart and literally something happens economically and then just skyrockets after being low forever. You know what I'm
True.
saying? And
True.
so for me, I kind of say to myself, like, okay, right now with the way in which, and I understand like there's always theater with it, but like channels like Caleb Hammer, you've
Yeah.
got these individuals that are like not delinquent because they're making their minimum on-time payments, but like you're putting $100 towards $10,000 in credit card debt. But
You're
oh,
right.
they're not delinquent because they made their minimum payments. You know what I'm
You're
saying?
right.
But they're accruing 30% interest on the way. So it's kind of like misconstrued, at least in my mind, because it's one time, it's one thing if you're making your minimum on-time payments and you're just getting destroyed with 30+% interest. It's another if you're paying off your statement balance in full each month. You know what I'm
True.
saying? So I
True.
guess that's where like looking at the general consumer debt, and I know everyone likes to talk about it from like a hyperbolic perspective of, yeah, you can now finance your Costco hot dog. Like I understand like that's something that people talk about and they're like, this is the end. But I don't know. It's
I love
definitely,
it.
yeah. I mean, no, seriously, like just because you can do that doesn't mean a lot of idiots are. I know there are some people that do it, but they're not the majority. So I don't know.
I mean, I just think, I don't know. Like I would have to dig really deep into the actual data to give you a real take, because obviously just like throwing the 1 trillion or whatever debt up there, it means nothing, right? Because everything's more expensive now, right? Like I know wages haven't kept up with inflation, right? Really, but like wages are more now. Like everything's going up. So like of course credit card debt's going to be higher because everything's higher. I just don't know like if like all the rates of everything are that out of whack. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. It's kind of like if you go finance furniture, right? It's like, well, maybe back in the day, you could only finance furniture for 24 or 36 months and it was cheaper. Well, now it's more expensive, but you can finance furniture for, 72 months. So technically you have a lot more debt, but your payments may be the same. So like there's a lot of different like things like that where, even cars, you can finance cars out to like 84, 96 months, whereas like before you can only go to like 48, 60 months. And so like, there's like a lot of things like that where it's like technically the debt's higher, but like our monthly bills as bad type thing.
Yeah, well, I would say there's definitely a normalization of it because they haven't done it yet, but they've talked about like, let's talk about this revolutionary thing called a 40 to 50 year mortgage. Like,
It might be a
or
thing.
yeah, or like people talk about prices for homes currently and they say prices don't need to come down. We just need interest rates lower. And it's
And
just
it would
like,
help.
it obviously does help, but like, I don't know.
Helps a ton, dude. Helps a ton.
Yeah, it does. But I guess the question is like, it helps a ton, but you're still paying so much just because of
True.
like how much prices of homes have gone up over time. And that's just kind of, I guess, the story of it all is, as much as I hate to say it, companies at this point are like, it feels like calling consumers bluffs. Like consumers are like, oh, this sucks. We don't want to buy this. It's too expensive. And yet you're having record numbers. Like literally the Delta CEO just came out and they were talking about, credit cards and how they're having an issue with a lot of their more premium customers complaining about the quality of things. And he basically came out and said, you guys have too much money. Like literally, like that was basically like how you kind of
Well, here, dude.
summed it all up,
Let me
was
just throw
like,
this out there.
there's
A
people,
four.
there's, sorry, you go.
Go ahead.
I
Go
just
ahead.
want to
No,
finish my thought.
it's lagging. I'm sorry, dude.
Oh, is it? Okay.
But a $400,000 house, right? With, if you go ahead and put 5% down, whatever, over 30-year fixed at a 7% interest rate. This was without taxes and insurance. I get that. But 7% interest rate, it's 25, 28 payment. At a 4%, it's an 18, 14 payment. That's a huge difference.
I mean,
So
look
like,
at the
yeah, I think if
amortization
interest
rate.
rates did come down quite a bit, it would make a lot of things more affordable for people.
No, I 100% agree with you. No, I'm not
Yeah.
disagreeing at all. I'm just saying it's funny that where we've come is not prices are too expensive in the aspect of what you're paying, but how you're able to borrow is too expensive. Does that make sense? Like, it's
Yeah.
kind of crazy. It's we're at a point where people have accepted prices on things, and they're more concerned with the borrowing rates in which they're able to borrow to afford things, which like kind of
Yeah.
sucks. But like what I was gonna get into, like with the point I was making with the whole Delta CEO and the statement they had, there's so many individuals that will literally go and get like a premium credit card, and they'll use it like maybe once or twice a year to get into a lounge or like have status. And you'll straight up be like, why are you spending all this money, like $1,000+ on annual fees on stuff, just to use a perk that you could go spend 50 to $100 on for literally like the whole year of how often you're actually going to utilize it. But it's because, oh, I have this thing. That status symbol is
Yeah.
what people are kind of
Exclusivity,
chasing.
baby.
Yeah, people want that status symbol. And so the thing is like people, that's all people generally care about. And right now, you're feeling a lot of CEOs, like Nintendo is calling that so hard. Like Nintendo with, oh, the price of the Switch is too expensive. Record sales, blew it out of the water, wasn't even close. You know what I mean? Like, and you've got obviously distros raising prices on Pokemon products, and they're like, who cares? Look at the margins right now that you guys are making comparable to what you were making a year ago. Like, you gonna complain over $3 increase? You know what I'm saying? So
100%, dude.
yeah,
It's supply and
prices keep
demand.
going.
It's the same it's always been.
Yeah, the demand is too high for so many different things. So many different things are becoming more expensive nowadays. Like,
And lucky viewer, yeah, my dad's actually a loan officer for mortgages. And he says people only putting 5% down when they buy a house. A lot of people only put 3.5% down
I
because
was
they
just
finance
about to say
FHA.
that.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
they finance FHA or they'll put 5% down on conventional. Hey, if you're in like a USDA land, you can actually get a 0% mortgage. So like, yeah, a lot of people actually do that, especially if it's their first house. And if they have no equity from a previous house to roll in, I would say the majority of the loans are 3.5 to 5% down.
yeah, when I put 20% down on my home, people thought I was weird for it. I'm like, I don't want PMI. What do
Yeah,
you
yeah.
mean?
So lucky viewer, you were told 20% to get out of PMI. So private mortgage insurance is what you have to pay basically as insurance against you, defaulting on the loan because you don't have enough down to cover, the market fluctuations. So that's why they put PMI into place and enabled them to let people buy homes with less down. And so, yeah, 20% down just enables you to get out of that. So you're not paying extra fees. You don't have to pay for that. You get no return for. So no, that's a smart idea to do 20%, but you don't have to. I mean, 3.5 and 5 will get you in a home.
I mean, this wasn't one of these things where I had five, I could put 20%. I just had the money. It took me like 5 years.
Yeah.
And like for some people, it might even take longer. Like it's not, and that's with a dual income. That's not a single income. Like imagine doing that on a single income, like putting 20. That's the thing is I feel like for a lot of people, it's just a lot easier to get your big boy job, like your salary job, and then within a year, then just put 3.5 to 5% because you just don't want to have to deal with renting. The problem is with that is your debt to income is going to be so high, especially if you're not,
Yeah.
married or have a dual income household.
I mean, honestly, not to get like all like crazy with it. I think another part of it is like just society now, or at least Western society now, like this, like looking down on people for living with their parents when they're like out of college. Like, I mean, if you have to get out of high school and you're getting in like a job, or you're getting out of college, you're getting a job, like, dude, staying at home for an extra year or two, if you're able to, building up a nice amount of money for a down payment, getting some money in the bank, like, maybe getting a vehicle paid off, like getting your bills in order before you get a house. Like, I don't know why people like are so rushed to get their own place, unless you have to. Like everyone's situation is different, but like if you don't have to, if you're just one of these people, like I can't live with my parents, I got to get on my own. It's like, dude, suck it up and stay there if your parents are going to allow you to. That's a huge benefit. That's a huge privilege, right? And that's a privilege, right? Anyone that doesn't have that, for sure, people like that are privileged. I'm 100%. Life isn't fair. I'm not one of those people that says like life's fair, but like if you have the option to stay at home with your parents, dude, take it. Stop. Don't let society tell you that's like wrong or something. I think that's crazy.
I feel like that's changing a lot culturally. I feel like that was definitely a big Gen X and like boomer thing. And
Yeah.
like millennials and Gen Z are very much like not a part of that as much.
No.
Because like at least in my own circle, I know so many people that still live with their parents that are my age or older. And it's just because of finances. And they're just like, I'd much rather save up my money and then go put it towards not putting myself in a stressful situation. Right. And like, I don't know. Obviously,
I mean, I owe it.
for everyone.
I owe part of, like, I guess my privilege earlier in life to having parents that allowed me to stay home after college. Like, I got out of college, and the reason I was able to build my lawn care company so quickly is I was able to live at home for the first 2 years.
Yeah.
I was able to put all my money into the business, continue to grow it, invest in equipment, invest in marketing, grow my business. And then 2 years later, I was able to buy a house because I was able to save up a down payment, get my equipment and truck paid off, things like that. Now, if you're just staying at home, like partying and just like living like you're in college, still not saving money or not like doing anything to better your financial future, well, then it can be, lead to like being at home when you're 30 with, not getting anywhere. But like, if you use that time, I think you can set yourself up for a much better like entrance into the world than this whole idea of, oh, I'm out of college, I can't go home, I need to hurry up and get on my own. Like, if you don't have to, don't do it.
Yeah, I was 23 when I moved with my parents. So, well, I will say the timing definitely wasn't the greatest with COVID.
Yeah, that's a little different, dude.
Yeah. We'll start moving on to some more questions. Cell seal cases are open and sell the boxes. Some are slightly dented on one side from sitting on an uneven surface. Not by me. I opened the worst one and only one box was dented.
Cell seal cases are open and sell the box. So, okay. I like to keep them sealed because I don't want to risk that. I know ETB cases are the worst at this. If anyone's opened like large amounts of ETBs, it's very likely to have ETBs come out of the case with like rips and like some of the plastic tearing on some. Eli, I'm sure you've experienced that. Like, it's very common, and that's why ETB cases I'd rather just keep sealed and sell them like that and let the person that's going to open them, worry about it. Because like, I'm selling the sealed case. I have no control on what's inside. Once you open that sealed case, you're going to be taking discounts on every one of those that's ripped.
Yeah, 100%. Question: PCETB is approaching 1K on. I don't know what this is.
Still think they will crash?
151.
It's crazy.
That is insane. That's actually insane that they're approaching $1,000. Yeah, I don't
think. Well, I never said they would crash.
Yeah,
I said I thought they would like hit ceilings and basically kind of like putter out and not really produce as good of gains as other items were. But obviously, it's not the case right now.
My stance was always, and this is the term I use a lot, we're in uncharted territory. So for me, it feels unlikely, but anything's possible. And obviously, the anything's possible is what's happening right now. Oh, it's crazy. What's the top 3 advice you would give to someone opening an LCS right now?
Take it.
Good luck. No, I'm just kidding. The top 3 piece of advice right now, in this very minute, what are the 3 pieces of advice I would give? Oh man. I would say number 1 is find out what the identity of your business is, and that brings people back. Customer retention is the most important thing. You have to say to yourself, what can I do? And this just goes for all businesses, right? So for us, the thing that like we kind of hang our hat up on is we're extremely knowledgeable. So like if you come into the shop, we're really good at doing appraisal. The people that work there are extremely knowledgeable about all the TCGs. And so you can come in and ask us a bajillion questions. And we love setting people up for success when it comes to like long-term collecting. Because like I grew up and had no one that could like teach me how to take care of my cards. And so being able to like have parents come in with their kids and be able to teach them what to do to keep their cards in good condition and like make it to where it's actually going to be worth something. Like I'm passionate about that. And then also people.
And then you sell them a box of dragon shields.
And then we sell them a box. No, we don't. And we do penny sleeves and the premium pro binders, because the amount of times I've seen people come in with the 3-ring binders, bro, is like horrible. But anyway, people want to feel like they're taken care of, right? And so like that's kind of something we hang our hat up on, is taking care of people, knowing that the knowledge we have with the customer service takes it above and beyond. Obviously, Also, having good prices in there helps a ton. We offer very competitive prices, but like find the thing that you're going to stand out as to why people are going for you. If you look at online businesses like Safari Zone or like Holes Hill Sell Gaming, like they've stood out because of their pricing. There's other places online that have stood out like Danny Phantom because of the personality and his like kind of, emotion that he puts into the hobby, and people want to, support that. You know what I'm saying? Like find it what you're looking for. And then the next thing I would say that's extremely important is making sure that you're not taking it too fast. And what I mean by that is like one of the things that I learned a ton as a business owner is once your kind of game plan or plan of action starts to get implemented, people start to request things of you. Like you need to run more events for this thing, or you need to start carrying this product, or you should hire more employees. Like there's all these different growing pains that happen. But at the end of the day, I'd much rather be late to adding these growing pains on, but do it right than try and rush it. And then it ends up being a disaster because you bit off more than you can chew with the rate in which you were growing. So that's something I feel like I've seen all too many times where like with other businesses, they'll have a bunch of people just like standing around not doing anything because they just overstaffed, or like they end up having programs that they're doing and they end up not working because they aren't like addressing some of the major concerns as to why they shouldn't be running it now, but they just wanted to do it because it was an opportunity to make money right then and there. Like that's something I feel like that's important is when you're growing your business, make sure everything's intentional and you're not just rushing into things because it's a money making opportunity. The money will come. Just make sure you do it right so that it sticks around in the long term and it doesn't leave like a bad first impression for a lot of people. And then the last thing that I would personally say that's extremely important when it comes to running a business is, and this might sound kind of weird to a lot of people, but it's understanding the technicals. And I guess what I mean by understanding the technicals is we learned this so much through the growth of the business, but like inventory management, super duper important, right? Understanding the margins of like what your business is going to be successful at, right? Knowing a balance between high margin, low volume, and high volume, low margin, and like what can make you kind of successful. Like be able to crunch numbers and look at the analytics of where your demographic is, right? Like what's your target audience? Are you someone that you have a location for your LCS and it's in a neighborhood, right? And you're going to be able to target a lot of like families that come in. And so you're going to want to cater to that more. Or are you in more of like a Silicon Valley type area where you've got, tech people that have more money and you're going to cater to more of that established type? Because each individual that comes into your shop, they're going to have a certain thing that they're going to be interested more than others, and trying to find your target audience and using analytics to kind of help that. And then on top of that, compounding that with understanding the business profitability and just the way in which you can kind of be organized with your inventory and the way in which you're approaching handling that with customers. I think that's the most important. That's one of the most important things by far, because when it came to us and choosing where we wanted to like have our store be located, a big portion of that came down to what we felt like we wanted our brand identity to be built around from our target demographic. And that was families, because we want to be a very family friendly shop that targets individuals that come in with their kids, parents that come in with their kids, or high schoolers that come in after they're done with school and participate in our events, programs, and are part of a community, because we like to be very community driven. But those are my three things. That was a lot. Hopefully that was what you were looking for. I tried to be as detailed as possible. I don't know if you have anything, Alex, that you want to say.
I would just add, make content.
Make content is definitely important for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it costs you nothing. Like, especially, if someone wants to be on film, or if you want to film a little bit like of the back end stuff before the shop opens, after the shop opens, and it takes very little time, zero risk, nothing but your time. And I mean, it could build up to being, partially what pays the bills each month. So, I mean, I think if you're going to do a card shop, they love watching that like inner workings behind the scenes of owning a card shop type of like any business. And so like, that's what I would do. If I owned a card shop, I'd do some content.
I feel like one thing I will say is that you can do the three things I said first and then do the content, Cause like for me at least, with the card shop itself, literally everything we've done has been word of mouth or been by positive reviews that's gotten people in the door. We've literally done like little to no marketing, but we know that if we want to exponentially grow to what we think we're capable of, we're going to have to run more events in the shop, go to more events outside of the shop, and then market ourselves through doing videos inside the shop and outside the shop, kind of like Alex says. So build your foundation first. And then once you've kind of got that foundation that you're willing to sell to people, because a big part of content creation is selling something, right? Why is it that people want to click on my content? Is it because I'm knowledgeable? I have the personality. People just like the interactions I give. So build that foundation. And once you feel confident in the foundation, then start producing that content, because then people are just going to gravitate towards your content for the reason and why you're building it.
Yeah, like me, like I'm selling shill, I'm selling FOMO.
You know, people love the clown show, like, you know. Oh my God. But yeah, that was a good question. I like that question. 151 PC no, it's the same question. We already commented on it. Opinion on the we already answered that question. What's going on? Am I behind on questions? No, I'm not. Oh, here's one. Thoughts on Jake selling most of his collection. Market does not seem to slow down and only getting more expensive. Shouldn't he have waited till holiday season when the market is higher?
Who's Jake?
I don't know either.
Abraham, I'm looking at the bottom of the chat right now. Let us know who you're talking about, and we'll take this question in just a second. So I'll pay attention for it, man, if you want to take the next one.
Let's do some rapid fire too here. We'll try.
Twice baked Jake. Twice baked Jake.
Oh, interesting.
I didn't know.
Interesting. Wow.
I guess
who knows though his reasoning? Because like for me, as someone that like wanted to be a homeowner, I obviously, as a lot of people know, had a lot of money that I invested over the past 5 years into Pokemon. And some of that was at the game plan of selling a large chunk of it off for a down payment on a home, right? So it could have been that for that reason. I don't know. I didn't watch his video, but
I see it.
Selling for the sake of selling it.
Shows like 328,000. Someone's chat saying he's selling 150 of it. Why I'm selling part of my collection is just too much. Yeah, I haven't watched it either, but I mean, yeah, like, dude, there's just so many reasons. Like when I paid off my house, I sold off things. You know, like I sold off my XY, my Sun and Moon, some Sword and Shield stuff. And like, you know, I had a different goal. Like everyone's got different goals and different. I mean, put it this way. I was literally selling to people and they were asking me like, well, Alex, I got to know, like, why are you selling though? Like, you think it's going to go down? And I'm like, no, I think all this stuff's going to do just fine. It's just like, I want to be in a place of like risk-free. Right. So like, you know, everyone's job can be, you know, 100% stable, but you never know what's going to happen. Like my wife has a great stable job. She's been at the company, you know, she works for Enterprise Rent-A-Car. She's worked there forever in the tech side, but you never know. Right. Like, I feel like at this point, my job's pretty stable with like all the different streams of income, but you never know. But one thing I do know is having paid off house and no other debt, that our bills are so low, we could both work at McDonald's and make the bills. Like that's a place I wanted to be. Even if I could have done better holding Pokemon and I would have made more than I get all that. But so it's just like, everyone's just got different like types of risk tolerances and different types of like comfort levels they want. And so, yeah, I mean, I didn't watch the video, no idea why he's doing it. I could always ask Jake. But I'm sure he's got good reasons. I wouldn't think he thinks the market's going to crash, but who knows?
I think it's so funny how much people forget why we do all of this. Like, think about it. Like, most people are investing in Pokemon because they're going to sell it for some reason, whether it be buying a home or when Lambo, I mean, that's the running meme, right? Or like retirement aspirations. You're selling it for a reason. And it has a lot of times more to do with that personal reason than it is because of your lack of belief in the market. So like when people hear other people selling, it's always the funniest thing. It's like, dude, why could you be selling? It's such a terrible time to sell right now. It's like, well, because I had a goal, I hit my goal, and so I'm selling. You know what I mean? Like that's as simple as that. You know, like you said, paying off your home. For me, getting a home. For some people, enough money to where they feel comfortable with retirement. Whatever that reasoning might be, or putting their kids through college, or they had something financially come up and they need to cash out some of their position. Like it's all being done for certain reasons. Like we could sit here and say, of course, we would love to amass a multi-million-dollar Pokemon collection, but at the end of the day, like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I love Pokemon, but that's not the end game for me.
No, and Trevor in the chat said he thinks market is not sustainable, taking profits as it grows. I mean, here's the thing, guys. I don't know what or he did or didn't say. I'm definitely not going to like put words in his mouth and take just like no offense, Trevor. I can't just take what people are saying in the chat about it. So I'm just going to go with I don't know why you sold, but you know, if one of the reasons is he thinks the market's not going to like keep up or something, dude, everyone's got different opinions. Like I personally believe in it. That's why I'm not selling any. I mean, I've said it publicly. I'm not selling any Scarlet Violet era stuff. None of it. Zero. I'm not selling any Sword and Shield stuff. The only thing I'm selling is any slabs that I have that I've made plays on that I'm, going to get out, take the profits. I, obviously buy and sell product that I buy in from collections. But yeah, man, I still believe in where things are headed. Like in my mind, what a downturn looks like is the newer sets start selling for lower, and lower. The sets that get reprinted have some pretty good corrections. And then everything prior that's already getting to point of out of print and already out of print pretty much goes stagnant, maybe drops 5-10% because it's what we've seen in the past. Back when 2021, 2022 happened, all the other modern sets, other than like, I think Evolutions was the biggest hit and it was like 30%. Everything else was flat. I've shown charts on here before. It just went flat. Some went down 5 or 10%. They went flat for a while, but like, so I don't really worry about crashes or anything like that because we just haven't seen that happen.
Yeah. All right. Rapid fire, like I said. Thoughts on EV promo from SPC?
Cool. I like it.
I mean, I don't really have a ton of thoughts on it, if I'm being honest, so I'll defer to you.
I haven't followed the card. I mean, I like the SPCs. Like, if someone's asking me SPC or PC ETB, I could honestly go either way. There's not like one I like more than the other at the same because they're about the same price. As far as like the promo inside, as long as we don't get more SPCs, it should probably do well because it's going to be scarce, just like the SPC is, just like we've seen with kind of like the gold Charizard from Celebrations and gold Pikachu. Depending on how hard it is to grade, that'll have to do with how valuable the PSA 10 is. Like, just the same game. Any exclusive promo that people are hyped for, go.
I will say with the way the direction of the PC ETB is, or PC ETB is for 151, it does have me feeling some type of way, maybe more so if you're choosing between that and the prismatic PC ETB. Thoughts on TCG Classic PSA 10, and then we can kind of bundle that question in as a follow-up with someone asked another question about what our thoughts are on Rudy and Brian shilling the TCG Classic.
Yeah, I mean, I told you guys, I think that's probably one of the worst products ever created in Pokemon. I called it exactly right, even when most of the hobby was against me, and got it exactly right. So I just want to like give myself a pat on the back because no one ever remembers that. That people were hyping that up when it was 400 plus a box. I said it was the worst product ever as a glorified theme deck. It's going to crash. And of course, it's what happened. I know people are making grading plays on it because if you get a couple tens, it's worth it. And you make some profit. There's obviously risk involved, but yeah, if you want to buy it to open and grade the promos, it's a good play. As far as buying those to keep sealed, it's one of those things. Like the problem with Pokemon is things will go up at some point and people will come back and be like, see, Alex, you were wrong. It's like, dude, if you would have put that money into like 1,000 other things, you would have done better. And so I think you could put your money into like 1,000 other things right now, and you are going to outproduce any gains you're going to see in that stupid thing. But, here's the thing. And then talk about Rudy and Brian, guys. You got to read between the lines. The only reason Rudy and Brian have those is because they took deals with distributors to get other products they wanted. And they said, sure, I'll take that other trash if it means I get better allocations for the things I actually want. So they didn't buy those because they actually want them. Now they're trying to push them because they probably want them to go up. But I doubt they went out and said, you know what? I want to buy these today. No, they probably got pushed on them, and that's why they have them.
I don't know what you're talking about, dude. I'm sitting on bags and I love it. Just kidding. Yeah, I mean, I have like, I think 2 of them just cause I don't know. Never know. But yeah, I agree with I agree with your sentiment.
I could be wrong. Like, here's the thing, guys. Like,
I agree with your sentiment.
These are our takes. Like, I think we're just 2 guys on here giving our takes. It's just my take. I could be wrong.
I don't know, Alex.
I mean, Eli's a guru. I'm just a guppy. I'm just a guppy trying to make my way in this world, bro.
Yeah, Alex, I agree.
I'm serious.
I know, I'm just trolling at this point. No, I definitely think that
I do have this though. This is the
that's
secret
the
to my
edge
success.
that we have that most people don't, Alex. That's the thing people don't recognize. At any moment, we can just ask a magical 8-ball and it will just give us the answers we're looking for.
Yeah.
Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, guys. Like, I do want to like talk on that though, because I feel like, you know, if someone asks me a question, right, I'm just going to give my take, and I am going to give my take in the most confident way that I can, right? It'd be really boring if I sat here every question and I'm like, yeah, I mean, I can see it's possible to go up. It might also go down. Like, I do see some goods. I do see some bads. Like, dude, I'm not going to sit here and sit on the fence. Obviously, there's going to be nuance to every single, you know, possible question, but I'm just going to give my take. It's going to be, you know, one way or the other. I'm going to hopefully be right more times than I'm wrong, but it's just like, don't take anything from what anyone says as gospel. If you feel differently and you're really about that product, go for it.
Yeah. And that's why I'm in like at least $100,000 in on V battle decks. I just think that they're slept on.
100,000. That'd be amazing.
That sounds like an amazing investment.
Hey,
I mean, I had to diversify between those and the battle academies. Like,
dude, if I had distributors and they were offering me products that I could profit on and do well on, or I wanted to invest in at a cheap price, and the only catch was I had to take those TCG Classic collections, guess what? I'd have them too.
I concur with that sentiment. Don, shout out to Don. Thank you so much for the $5. How will Pokemon perform against coin, silver, gold? Better.
I would hope better, but man, I know gold's been on our freaking
Gold's
tear.
been doing great. Silver's been doing okay. It's funny because like everyone talks about how great silver's been performing. As someone who's been holding silver for like 5+ years, it doesn't feel like it's been doing nearly as good as gold's been doing. Gold's like on a tear.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think everything's just on a tear. Like I mean, gold low at like fair. In 20, it's basically doubled in the past like couple years. I mean, Pokemon's done that and more. I don't know. I think, put it this way, this is my opinion. I know Pokemon more than I do precious metals or anything like that. And I feel like have a better chance of getting Pokemon cards like under market or working deals. I, you know, like understand and feel more comfortable with like, you know, being engrossed in the hobby every day. So like, I feel better holding Pokemon, but if you're someone who's like more versed and educated and follow like the gold and precious metals market more, and you feel more comfortable in that, then it might be right for you. There's no one size fits all. It's just for me, you know, being engrossed in this hobby all day, every day, this feels much more safe to me. But like for Don, man, it might be a better option for you, dude.
I think I talked about this off stream. My like now that I finally am a homeowner, hooray! I am going to probably do 70%.
Put your 3.5% down.
Yeah, no, like I said, 20%, baby. Yeah, right. That'd be awful. I mean, my mortgage. I mean, it's still ridiculous at 6.625%, but you know, it is what it is.
Not awful right now.
I mean, in this economy, yeah, it's not the worst, but. My goal is 70% Pokemon and then 30% everything else. That's just my goal. So I think that 30% everything else will be individual stocks, indexes, you know, some sort of thing involving real estate, you know, precious metals. Like it's going to be very diversified, but that's 70%, baby. Woo! We're going to the moon with Pokemon. I am still a degenerate. I don't know. It's what I know, right? Like, oh man,
it's funny like because Pokemon's like not even that. I mean, it's probably like a third of my portfolio.
Dude, you gotta. Those are rookie numbers, bro.
I know, dude. Like, as bullish as I am, I should be way higher than that.
Dude, mine's 95% for sure at this point. 95% right now. It's a little too much. Mine's super bad. But I own a card shop, so it's kind of like, I don't know.
Like, well, I've had 2 massive cash outs, right? So I had a massive cash out in 2021. where I put that money into, the stock market. And then I also had a pretty, not a massive cash out, but I cashed out a good amount when I paid the house off. And so now I have that in real estate. And so like, yeah, if I would have never like took those cash outs and put the money elsewhere and it was all still in Pokemon, I'd be with you, dude. I'd be like 70, 80%.
Yeah. Dude, it's funny. It just reminds me of that one Dave Ramsey video where the guy, he was talking, he's like, I was talking to this very wealthy individual who's made so much money on farming. And, I was talking to another person about it. And it's like, farming, how are you making all this money? I'm like, I'm never going to question a man on how they made their money, because if they know what they're doing, he's been doing it for 20 plus years. He knows what he's doing, right? He's like, what that guy has is like $50 million. What you have is an opinion. And it's like, I thought that was so funny because it's so true. Like, we can sit here and we can like analyze. Oh, like, do you know how many times I've been told, like, you do Pokemon for a living? Like, I don't know. Isn't that kind of like risky? Or like, isn't that kind of like for like, it's one of those things where I'm like, Nintendo's been around since 1889. Did you know it's one of the longest running technology companies? Did you know that Pokemon's the largest grossing media franchise in the world? It's worth over 120 billion. Like, it's like crazy stuff like that. It's like, well, I know that because I've been doing this forever. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Another good one is when people tell you like, you don't even like have like your own company or product. You're just reselling some other company's products. You're a middleman.
My bad, bro. My bad, bro. I'll make sure to let distributors know that they're not really businesses, because they actually are selling product from the manufacturer. The manufacturer, they're the real business. Like, come on, man.
Dude, I respect anybody who finds a way to be successful in any industry, like doing anything. Like, I 100% agree with that. It's like, you see it, especially on YouTube, right? It's like everyone, in the comment section is always an expert. They always have this opinion, and, they're always like, it's like they have all the answers, right? Have all like the smart things to say and invest in. It's just like, well, how successful are you, man? How well are you doing in life? Like, to criticize how everyone else is doing. Cause like, it seems like all the people who are doing the best get the most criticism, which is weird.
Let them hate.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do a couple more, then we'll get out of here. Celebration UPC recent sales 747. How high do you think it'll go? Really?
Dude, that's crazy.
What?
I'm so glad I kept some of those. I don't know, man. That was a dead product for years, and just goes to show you just never know how the hobby's gonna reprice things as time goes on.
I gotta double check this for myself. Lowest listed is 748. Oh, wow. There you go. You know what's sad to think about though? That's still like, let me actually look at the chart. So I'll just use some numbers. That is still just a little bit over a 100% rate of return. That's so bad. If you compare it to like Lost Origin, Silver Tempest, I mean,
well, hold on though. I bought mine for like an average price of like I don't know, 210 to 225.
What? How are you getting them for that cheap? Holy crap.
What do you mean, 4 years ago?
Dude, that's crazy.
I was buying them right off eBay, dude. What do you mean?
Man.
I actually, in one of my videos, I showed the purchases. It was like back in. Yeah, so I was getting cases for like anywhere between like $860 to $899 a case.
Wow.
But
I don't see, maybe it's just me, but like I remember it being like at one point in the mid 200s for a very short period of time, and then just jumped up to 300, and then it just sat at 300 for like 4 years.
Yeah, it was I bought them like, I think it was like a January, February. It might have been like 2022 maybe. It was right when everything was like coming down in price, and like, and yeah, man, there was companies online dumping them. And
you got it at the right time, it sounds like.
225 in like 4 years or something. It's not that bad of a return.
Well, yeah, but I mean, first and foremost, that's great. Congratulations. But also, like, I feel like if you were one of those people that invest in the past 3 years, obviously it's a little different. You got in at the perfect time for that,
Yeah, it's not as good. I agree.
Yeah, but hey, 2x. I mean, it's funny that I'm scoffing at a 100% rate of return or above that. It's kind of where we are in this hobby, but it's crazy. Better buy Twilight or DR booster boxes at current price?
Oh, that's impossible. That is
That's
a
a
hard question.
genuinely tough one. Dude, I actually am going to say DR. It's crazy.
I am too.
I'm going to
I
say
am
DR.
too. If I had to pick one, I just think over the long term, it's going to be better, even if
I agree.
I don't know. I think they both have a similar possibility of reprints. I don't know.
At their current prices, DR, yes. Now, of course, if DR gets reprinted, then I'm still going to say DR because it's going to be cheaper. Like, what are we talking about here? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
Wow, experience share in the chat said Twilight, definitely. Like, I mean,
I couldn't.
Dude, it's still got the same print cycle as these other sets. It's a long way away. It could get reprinted still.
I just feel like if you said, and I'm not saying Twilight's going to get reprinted, but if you just said to me that these sets are both going to get reprinted, even if Twilight got significantly less of a reprint than DR is going to be able to take such a big beating on reprints. Like, you're going to need a lot more to crash DR than you are going to for Twilight. Like, it's just going to hold up so strong. And so I guess saying if Twilight doesn't get reprinted, but DR does get printed, I still think that DR is such a strong set that it will be able to hold up well.
Here's another thing no one ever like it doesn't get discussed as much either. Like, here, I'm gonna throw this out there and you give me your take, right? I'm not a buyer of either one of those boxes at the current price point.
Yes.
But I'm also not selling.
Yes. Yeah.
So you see how weird that sounds, though? It's like, well,
Makes
if you're
sense.
not selling and it's that price, then why wouldn't you be buying if you believed in it? It's just like,
I mean, you just said the
weird,
US housing market in a nutshell.
Yeah, it's just like I have unrealized gains, and it's like, well, yeah, I agree it could get reprinted, but it's just like the chance that it doesn't, I'd rather take the risk and have it than sell it and take the risk that I can't get more type thing. It's a weird scenario, and I don't even know if I really 100% can explain it like the best, but I don't want to sell at these prices, but I also don't want to buy more.
Perfectly makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Alex, would you ever consider painting your backdrop like the stained glass birds card?
Dude, it's not a bad idea.
That's not a bad idea. That could be sick.
I like it.
Paldea ETB with the Pikachu. Any thoughts? Any thoughts?
I don't know. Thoughts? See, I don't pay attention to the ETB market at all. So like I would have to look it up. I'll look it up and see what it's trading at. What is Paldea trading at? What the heck? Hold please. Okay. $100 in ETB, huh? So $100 in ETB or the Paldea booster box at roughly $350. I still like the box.
Between what again?
Oh, he just said just the booster box or the ETB. He said thoughts on the ETB with the Pikachu. Any thoughts? Like, my thoughts are, I mean, I still like the box better than the ETB. I guess if you're talking about price point, if you can't afford a booster box, do I like the ETB at $100? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. It seems like the ETB is roughly the same price per pack as the bundles, because bundles are about 60, right? $60, 65. So yeah, you're getting the same, relatively the same price per pack. You're getting a promo too. Yeah, I don't mind the Paldea ETBs at 100-ish.
Please forgive me. What does he mean by with the Pikachu?
I guess the Pikachu promo is inside the ETB.
Oh,
that's like the promo. Yeah,
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I couldn't tell you on that one, dude.
Matt cleared things up. He said he's behind the video, but the Twice Baked Jake's thing was for a college fund for his kids.
There you go.
There you
Personal
go.
reason.
Something that's more important to him than his Pokemon collection.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Here's an interesting question. What is a good PSA 10 percentage ratio for investing in a slab?
I mean, I don't think there is a good ratio, right? Like a lot of the alt arts have extremely easy PSA 10 rates, like 60, 70, 80, I don't know about 80, but like 70%
Yeah.
gem rate. And they do extremely well, right? Like whereas other slabs like the Magikarp from Paldea will have like a 20% 10 rate. And it does well too, but it's like it's all just really the 10 rate is just based on the range between the raw and this 10. So like with the Magikarp it's like a what $200 raw and 2010, whereas like the Umbreon's gonna have a much smaller range. But I don't think it matters for investing. I think you can invest in the single or the slab and you're probably gonna have close, I would say close to same margins when things gain. Maybe the 10's a little better, especially when things are in like a pump cycle. But I don't know if there's like a certain ratio to look for investing. All ratios can move.
For me, I look less about the ratio between the 10 versus the raw for the reasons Alex mentioned, because certain, cards are obviously going to have different ratios based off of how hard they were to grade. For me, if anything, I look at it more specifically if it's worth sending in for grading and like what I could make off of that. Because for me, if I have like a card like the Glaceon or like the Leafeon VMAX from Evolving Skies, there's not a huge premium. And yes, there is a premium, but if you're going to go send them in for mass grading, if you get hit with a 9, you're in a lot of pain. But like going back to one of the earlier examples I used with like the Miriam, if you're getting that card for $20 and the Miriam card itself, it's not, as far as I'm aware, like the Magikarp from Paldea, where it's just one of those really rough printings to get in a 10.
No.
You're getting it in a 10 for $110+. So you're at least 5xing if you can hit that in a 10. And so for me, I kind of look at it from more of that perspective, where the risk to reward ratio is versus the inverse of, do I think it's worth investing in the 10 compared to the raw? I look at it as it more of worth grading the raw based off of the 10 itself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, for sure.
We'll do 2 more questions, then we're gonna get out of here. What do you think about the Lysias Appeal SIR? Or is it Lisa's? Is that what he's saying?
I think it's Lycia. I don't
Yeah.
Elijah, Lycia.
Yeah.
The one from Lycia is one of the most expensive cards in Sun and Moon. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I just think like I said, we kind of like the waifu thing is really calmed down, and that's why I like the Miriam, the Iono, like Lycia, all of them, all the cards are just not holding the prices they were, and all the Pokemon have retaken the top spots. And so I think it kind of depends on if the waifu craze and trainer craze kind of comes back a little bit. Other than that, I mean, I think it'll do decent. Like I don't think I think if the set does well and the cards do well, it'll probably be one of the cards that does all right. Like I just don't know. I mean, I think it's really going to take the hobby to really come back for the waifu effect for that really card to really take off. So I don't know.
Which card are we talking about here for Sun and Moon? What set is it from?
I feel like it's maybe like Celestial Storm. Maybe not. No.
Someone in
maybe
the chat.
Maybe it's Ultra Prism. Yeah, Celestial Storm.
Okay, so you had it right. Let's take a look and see. Oh wow, yeah, that card popped off. Holy moly! I don't remember it being worth that much. Actually, it's gone down.
Even that card's down right now.
I mean, not much. It's down from 290 to 280. It's still at 290. No, it is not down. It's at its high still.
Yeah, it's just flat.
Yeah, it's just there's not a lot sold. That's why the volume is very low on it. You're selling at least 1 a week, maybe 2 a week, depending upon 1 to 2 a week. I mean, honestly,
it could be a good play.
I honestly would say that could be a really solid play. That could be a really good play. Especially considering like where the SIR is currently and how it's just continued to go down.
Put it this way. I think that's a very low risk card as well at $34, $35.
Yeah, especially being a character that we obviously know going back to the Celestial Storm has performed well. Variations of it.
How is Ultra Prism held up?
So good.
I just want to see like because that's kind of like the waifu set, right?
Yeah, Ultra Prism's done very well.
So Lily
and Cynthia.
The Lily continues to rise.
Yep. It is worth so much money, dude. It goes for like, let me look, $650. Technically, yeah, no, $650.
Yeah, it's weird that the waifu thing isn't a thing in like Sword and Shield or Sun or Scarlet Violet. Why is that?
It's just time. It wasn't a thing in Sword and Shield originally, but like then a bunch of the trainer cards started popping off. Like, at least here, let me go back just so I can go back and take a look. So like
Rebels, do you think people just prefer that artwork better?
Well, like, I don't know, dude. I guess it just depends, because I will say some of them are retracing. Like the boss's orders card, that card at one point was going for like $10, and then it jumped all the way up to 70, and now it's down to like 50. So it's gone up again. Like it's going down, but like it was up for a bit there. That's not a waifu card, that's a trainer card. I should probably give a better example. I apologize. Where's a Marnie card we can probably grab? Probably Sword and Shield base, right? Isn't that one of the main Marnie card ones? Yeah, where's that one going for right now? Near mint, that one is going for $40. No, it's not really doing anything.
Marnie actually got overtaken by that rainbow rare Snorlax.
Oh, that's crazy. That's actually so crazy.
But it's still relatively high. It's retraced a bit, but not down to its old levels. It's holding up.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I think that, well, here's what I will say. I remember there was a whole video that was made like a long time ago, probably 2021, 2022, during the time when a lot of the waifu cards were popping off in the XY and the Sun Moon era, and people were speculating on it with Sword and Shield, and you saw some of them go up in price, but obviously since then a lot of them have retraced. So I think it's a very viable argument to say that it's possible that in the next several years you could see a resurgence where it becomes trendy again. That's at least where my mind is, especially considering that we're still seeing a lot of movement from some of the older ones.
And you know what I love about this too? This is just another one of those plays we are talking about. This the whole like theme of this live stream is the Alicia's appeal. There's another like there are plays out there, guys. You just got to dig deeper and look a little different and get a little more creative. It's no longer just like, I'm going to buy every brand new set when it's released at whatever market price is. Like there's plays. You just got to look a little deeper.
Yeah. All right. We'll do one question, then we got to get out of here. I've been accumulating booster box cases from SV set. Should I start picking up bundle displays or ETBs next? I mean, still keep picking up boosters if it's me.
Yeah, you don't have to pick up anything else. Like, I don't know why people, and I'm not saying like it's you, MA. I'm just saying like, you don't feel like you need to like get more SKUs or like expand your inventory into other items. I mean, I'd be perfectly comfortable having nothing but booster boxes. The only reason I would buy other things besides booster boxes is if I wanted to move in positions and the other items were just so lopsidedly cheap, kind of like 151. It's just like, well, if ETBs are already 270 and PC ETBs are already 750, but bundles are still as cheap as they are price per pack, then it makes sense. But like, don't just start moving into other stuff just because like you already have boxes. Just get more boxes.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I'm not trying to get too cute with it. Not to mention as well, at least if we're talking end game here, ETBs price per square foot are going to take up so much more space than booster boxes.
It's wild, dude.
Yeah, no, I'm 100%.
I think so. Like I have these like 72 by 48 by 24 shelves, and you can fit 6 ETB cases like per row, how I have them set up, whereas you can fit 14 booster box cases. So just like do the average price per booster box case. You can have 14 of those, or you can have 6 ETB cases in the same space. Like that's wildly different in
Yeah.
value.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, it's funny because for me, you know, do I think ETBs are a bad investment? No, 100%. I mean, I don't think they are. I've been someone that was a big fan of ETBs early on. And yes, I know things have changed in terms of the investability aspect of ETBs as they've become more prevalently printed. But like also my mind has started to like kind of change a lot with that as I start to look at how much more limited of space I have and how much it is just to store them compared to other products. And so I'm now looking at investments that I feel as if are much easier to store.
Rich people problems.
I guess. Not really.
Just ran out of space for all his Pokemon.
If it was a rich person problem, I wouldn't have an issue with space.
Guys, he had to buy a big house just to store his Pokemon product. He has to expand his store just to store his Pokemon product.
It's all going to play space, baby. I'm actually excited for that. We're going to double the amount of tables we're going to have. Dude, oh my God, sorry. We'll wrap it up here. But like Edge of Eternity, dude. Ooh, dude, our Edge of Eternity night almost did better than our Final Fantasy night in terms of like numbers. Like it was crazy how many people we had for Edge come out. I will say though, we because I've been really getting into opening Magic. I just think it's super fun. I pulled the main chase card from Edge of Eternity, which like last sold was like $1,500. So feeling pretty good about that. Pulled a couple.
Like for yourself, or is it like, does it make sense for like the shop?
I'm probably gonna sell it on eBay. Just try and
I mean, like opening Magic in general. Is it like, are you doing it for like shop inventory or just like for fun?
Just for fun. I mean, this is what I've always done with Pokemon is every new set release, I've always opened a case and then I will sell it's a little bit of both. I will open a case
as a shop now. Do you find yourself opening any products for like to have inventory or no?
So I'll say this. This is what I've always done. I've always opened every new set release a case of products because it's just fun to open. But then I've always taken the singles I pulled and sold them. I don't hold on to them.
But you don't like specifically open products for like shop inventory? I know some card shops do that.
Like I said before, the stuff that I am opening, I immediately sell it. So like in a way, yes, but it's not like me going into it. I'm saying I'm opening this just purely for the fact that I want to throw singles in the case. It's like, hey, I'm opening this because it's fun to open, but I also run a business. I can't just like sit on thousands of dollars worth of, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I get it.
So I will say though that like when our store expands and we continue to grow, the next evolution of our business is finding a way for us to like sell product online for in-store pickup. If someone wants to reach out to me and help me with this, because this is driving me nuts, I don't know what to do at this point, but like I'm not going to use POS Binder because it integrates with TCG Player. So I need to find a way from an inventory management perspective to be able to have like a platform where people can go onto a website directly that has our entire catalog of singles we have, and then people can check out from there for them to then come pick up the product.
Our card shop has that, our local one.
Yeah, if someone has a recommendation, please let me know because I would really love that because like the evolution of our business, it needs that so bad because right now we don't have a good way.
I'll ask them because they have like 6 computers lined up where you can just go in and like, add them all to cart and then it throws the order in and then they'll like pull them and you'll be able to like pick them up within like usually 15 to 30 minutes. They'll have them out at the order out.
Yeah, like seriously, please let me know, Alex, because I'm dying over here. Like after we get the store open, that's going to be a thing. Because for us right now, like we have a lot of singles for our like bulk operation and we're not capitalizing on the ability to sell them in shop and also not have to pay the fees because we would have to pay so much more in fees if we obviously had like or we would have to pay so much less if we were able to sell them in person. And then on top of that too, going into the point you were saying though, we want to do more of the like opening product for release, but also the exact same time if we're selling them all predominantly on TCG Player, then it's not, it's not going to be the greatest. So if we have a way to market our business and get that captured sales volume for in-store pickup, that'll be huge. Like that'll be huge. And I'll start feeling more confident opening cases of plays.
Isn't it profitable because you can, sell pre-release on TCG? Isn't everything so like high at that point that it almost makes it worth it?
It can be, but not really in my personal opinion, because even with the fees, like
maybe that's for more in like a normalized market where boxes aren't so expensive.
Yeah, well, like here's the thing, your ability, unless it's so rare. Like, oh, what just happened? There's some like shadow.
Yeah, there's like a bug.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? So like with TCG Player, because of the fees, like it's just so, and the shipping costs, like it just makes it so much more expensive versus if you can get those premiums and sell it in store. Because at least when I do calculations on like, Mox Alpha, it's one of those things where the margins are like 10, 20% after fees. And for the amount of labor you're putting into it, like that's not worth it. Versus if you were to then say it's actually closer to 40% and you're not having to do the shipping also as well, and it's just all sold in shop, that's a 2 thumbs up for me, brother. Like that's really solid. But in-store pickup.
Huge. Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the next evolutions for the shop. So our big thing that we're trying to do is we want to run more events. We want to find ways to have people do in-store pickup for stuff so we can do it online. And then also we want to do more events at like local shows to market ourselves. And then 2, we're also going to try and do like what you were saying earlier, more like content created stuff related to the store. So that's like kind of
I create content.
Dude, isn't that crazy, dude?
Dude, you're not a content creator.
Yeah, I lied. I actually just said that because it sounded cool. Come
on, man.
But yeah, no, that's kind of our evolution. Because right now, like, we've got a lot of really good reviews. We've got like over 400 5-star reviews on Google. So like,
that's
if you're in the local Phoenix area, we're the highest rated and most rated shop. But at the same exact time, like, we obviously know that like we're kind of capped if we don't expand through content, because we only show up within like a certain radius, right? And so if there's someone that's like living farther north, then if there's a way that we can kind of pop up and then they're like, oh, I saw one of their videos. Oh, they're only a 30-minute drive from me. Oh, I should go check them out. Because we've had a lot of people that have come into our shop and we're now their regular shop, and they're 30 minutes from us or 40 minutes from us. And they're like, we'd rather go to you than the shop that's 10 minutes or 5 minutes from us, because they just are more expensive or their customer service sucks or insert reason why. So just got to market what we're selling, marketing is important. But anything you want to say before we get on out of here, Alex?
Dude, I think this was a good stream. Guys, the grass is not always greener on the other side. There are always plays available. Don't always focus on the new shiny thing, the new set, worrying about the next set after that, the next set after that. You're going to have time for all this stuff. Focus on the things you might not have time for.
Yeah, like your wife.
Oh my God. What is
guy that? Sold his wife for his Pokemon. It's crazy, dude.
I wasn't ready for that one.
Oh my goodness.
That was good.
All right, guys. Thank you guys all so much for stopping by. Make sure you leave a like, comment down below, subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Check out Alex. Links down in the description below for that. But yeah, I will see you all next Monday. Have a good one. Peace.